Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to the Cheaters Never Pin podcast, a proud part of the Section 328 family. Follow us on Twitter at CheatersInVRPin. Now, live from ringside, it's Mr. Workrate and JC. Well, welcome back, everybody, to your favorite, your favorite Cheaters Never Win named wrestling podcast, or Cheaters Never Pin named wrestling podcast.
Yes.
There we go. Cheaters Never Pin. I'm JC. My good buddy next to me here, as always, Mr. Workrate, Tom.
Yeah, I think that was the exact wording that was used or something similar to that.
Yes.
It was very, very specific.
Yes. For those of you that don't know, Tom and I guested on the Cheaters Never Win podcast this past week. So you can hear us talk about hockey there and a healthy dose of pre-Royal Rumble coverage since it was recorded about an hour before showtime on Sunday.
Yeah, just as the pre-matches were going on, there was a couple of pre-matches. It was a decently long pre-show, so we took that opportunity to jump on the mics and talk with Mike himself and give a little hockey talk and a little wrestling talk and a little F, Marry, Kill.
Yeah, it was a good show. We had a good time.
Yeah.
We should have them back on here sometime soon, though. It's been a year.
The time limit has elapsed. We're allowed to put them on again.
Yes. But anyway, you're not here to hear us talk about other shows we've been on. You're here to listen to this show, Cheaters Never Pin, and I'm sure you're here to listen to us talk about the Royal Rumble, which was this past Sunday in Philadelphia.
Was it? I had forgotten.
Preceded by NXT Takeover the day before, and then proceeded by Raw and SmackDown. 4 days in the Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah, just camp out.
Yeah. I'm sure there were people that essentially did that. You know, I could notice some of the super fans that we always see, most notably guy and woman who I believe is his mom that always sit front row. They were there all week.
Okay.
If I pointed to them, you'd know exactly who I'm talking. It's a dude with he's pretty tall, really thin, shoulder-length hair. His mom always sits on his left. Shorter woman, longer, kind of gray hair.
I'll take your word for it.
I have to point it out to you. Once I do it, you'll go, oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay.
It just gives me a sense of calm that they're always there. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Like a sense of normalcy.
Like this isn't some kind of alien reproduction of your WWE events.
Right. This is real.
You're not in the Matrix for some reason.
Yes. But let's talk about the Rumble then. Let's get into it. Where do we want to start? Overall thoughts.
Do we want to talk about the Rumble, or do we want to talk about Takeover first?
We can talk about Takeover. Well, you know what? We'll go chronologically. That makes sense, Tom.
Yeah.
Like that. Let's talk about Takeover.
That's why I get paid the no bucks.
Adrian Cien Almas retains his NXT championship over Johnny Gargano in what Meltzer said, and I 100% agree with, is the best match in NXT history.
Yeah. I mean, you can go with preferences and things like that, and it's like I like this match better because the specific people involved that you may like better. I mean, Revival DIY, is it that one? I guess. Yeah, I think so.
You could go the Sasha Bailey at Brooklyn 1.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn Nakamura at Takeover Dallas.
No. I mean, and those are all great matches for their own particular ways. I mean, Sasha Bailey, I think, was a great match. Less for the work rate, pun not intended, but more for the story it told. I mean, Nakamura, Sammy was just pure in-ring work. and like mat psychology. But this had everything.
Mm-hmm.
It told a story. It was an incredibly booked match. It had mind-blowing spots. It had everything, and yeah, it's hard to disagree that it was one of, if not the best match in NXT.
Yeah, perfectly constructed. Great storytelling. Even got the addition of Candice to the mix there to fend off Selena Vega, which of course I will mark for.
Yeah.
It was just, the whole package was fantastic.
And the thing was too, there was talk going into this match that, well, Gargano's going to get screwed in the end because we're going to have Ciampa come and screw him out of the match somehow or get involved somehow. And so, no, it didn't need that.
No.
And they wisely kept him away.
Mm-hmm. Until we get the traditional NXT copyright tease.
Never, ever trust the copyright.
Bug goes up in the corner with the copyright as Gargano and Candice are going up the ramp. Then, out of nowhere, here comes that fucker Ciampa with his goddamn crutch. And what does he do? He cracks it across the back of fucking Johnny Gargano's head with Candice standing right there because he's a fucking prick. Yeah. Lays Johnny out. Candice is holding him. Jesus.
And that's it. He didn't destroy him because he didn't need to be destroyed. His body was already completely spent from the match that he just had.
Mm-hmm.
So just one pop to, hey, you didn't forget me, right? And then back off and let it soak in.
Yep. So maybe he'll return at center stage this week at tapings. It looked like he's still injured, though, or still recovering, I should say.
I was gonna say, I don't know whether, because after he did the home run job, when you saw him walking away, it was with a heavy, noticeable limp. So I don't know if that's a work or if that's a legitimate soreness that he still has.
Yeah.
So,
well, I guess we'll find out. Let's see what else happened.
Yeah, I was going to say he's obviously close, at least, to have him back in the mix, to have him do the angle.
Yes. Aleister Black defeats Adam Cole in an Extreme Rules match. This match also freaking stellar.
Yeah, it was neat to have this match and to watch it and like be blown away by some of the spots that were in it and just be like, oh man, Almas and Gargano have something to, work towards to go on after that.
Yeah. I specifically think of that back bump that Aleister Black took off the top turnbuckle into the two tables that were on the apron. Or not on the apron, but outside, on the outside of the ring. And it wasn't one of those where he kind of, teetered and you could tell he was looking back. No, he just went for it, man. Oh, and then Adam Cole busts his hand open like 2 minutes into the match on a trash can.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wasn't there I'm trying to remember all the spots. Wasn't there like a back suplex on chairs?
Oh, yeah. That's the one. God, I blocked that out because I never want to see this happen ever again anywhere in any promotion. Aleister Black performs, it was a black suplex, something like that, onto Adam Cole, who, of course, before put two chairs in the center of the ring, not like with the seat touching each other, but the back part of the folding chair touching each other. So his spine cracks on the top of these chairs that are back to back. God. Like that's how you lose your smile, I hear.
It's like essentially being dropped on a railing.
Oh God, yeah. See people take bumps like that on like the guardrails that they use for like indie shows and use in ECW and stuff. Like That makes me cringe. This was worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I think collectively our text thread that we were going through as we were watching it just was all capital letters for the next 2 minutes after that spot.
Yeah, Twitter freaking exploded too. It was nuts. Alrighty. Ember Moon defeats Shayna Baszler and retains the NXT Women's Championship. I say defeats, but she got real lucky getting out of an armbar and rolled her up. Then, of course, as she manages to slink away, Shayna Baszler then goes to murder her because she's Shayna Baszler.
It's funny because I remember you saying it, and I think going back and forth, how going into the match, you were bitching left and right because it's they've booked this into a hole, they booked it into a corner. How are they going to get out of this? You're either make Baszler look like, a geek by just destroying her push by having Moon go over, or you basically took Moon, who you built into finally a champion, and then just job her out that quickly. What are you going to do? You did the right thing. They did it.
Yeah. That was perfect. I think I even said that on Twitter. I said, they booked themselves into this corner, and they figured the way out of it. Praise be to Hunter.
Yeah. Baszler pretty much dominated the match, and
as she should have.
Right.
She's so vicious. She's such a great natural heel. I love watching her because she just exudes that natural cocky heel charisma. It just flows out of her.
And she works well as a bully. I mean, that's her angle. I mean, that's what she's doing, and she's taking, and it's that position's always been geared more towards especially in women's wrestling, that position's always been a larger woman, a heavier, that type of role. I mean, similar to say Nia Jax is now, where you're the bully. You you have these smaller, prettier girls that are dainty or whatever. Then you have the big mean bully come in and trash him. Baszler's not heavy. She's tall. I mean, but she's not in that build, but it's the exact same type of angle where she's she's going and she's choking out Kairi Sane, and she's, just taking Dakota Kai and breaking her arm or whatever. That's just the angle that she does. And it's like you said, it's done beautifully.
Yeah. Velveteen Dream defeats Cassius Ohno in 10 minutes and 45 seconds. Fun match. Velveteen so over. So over. This is what I fear. This is a perfect NXT gimmick. This is going to be... Yeah. Just feel like this is just death on the main roster.
Yeah, because, the only gimmicks that get over from NXT are bad gimmicks.
Yeah.
Things that are over in NXT never get over on the main roster.
Yep.
And things that get over completely shitty on the NXT roster get over great on the main roster.
Examples in either direction. Tyler Breeze.
Opposite direction. Elias,
exactly. That's what I was going to say. I hated that gimmick watching it on NXT, but it reads so much better in large buildings than it did in Full Sail. It's perfect for main roster. And it resonates, unlike Tyler Breeze, who never did. And I think people can blame that on book. You can certainly blame a little bit of that on the way he was booked, but just the gimmick didn't read as well on the main roster, if that makes any sense.
I think the thing with Breeze too is they kind of gave up on him quick. And I think I had heard something about the fact that Vince basically didn't get it, so it was doomed.
Well, goddamn, what's a selfie? 3 years later.
What?
2 years later. Everybody should cut promos in selfie videos. He was really a trendsetter.
Yeah.
Put words on those selfie videos. People aren't listening. Put the words on the goddamn screen.
Is it like tout?
That's all he's trying to do. He brought back XFL. Now we're bringing back tout, baby. It's coming. Hold on, kids.
You think like the internal communication for WWE is still via tout? Kind of like instead of having Slack or something like that through the company, everybody touts to each other.
Just get 7-second videos of Vince being like, I don't like this goddamn booking. It's like, Jesus.
We've got a meeting in 5 minutes, damn it.
Don't sneeze, bitch. I don't know why I yelled bitch. It felt right in the moment.
I'm driving to lunch today. We're getting steak wraps.
Oh, man. The Undisputed Era. Go ahead. I feel like you had one more.
No, I was
Okay.
just going to say, so, yeah, moving on.
Okay. The Undisputed Era retains their NXT Tag Team Championships, narrowly escaping against the Authors of Pain.
It was fine. I'm not a huge AOP fan. That's my own fault. But I think they booked that well enough because you've got two guys, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, who have a distinct size disadvantage. And they played – it was similar to the way like Tully and Arn used to battle against the Road Warriors and groups like that. It was similar to that kind of booking where you have two people that should be dominating the smaller team, but the smaller heels work on a body part or take advantage of some mistake somewhere. And that's what they did. The first one, where is he? Akam
Akam and Razar.
Yeah. Akam had the injury, I guess, to his leg or whatever, and that was the way to even out the odds. And it still kept the AOP strong enough that when they get called up, which is any minute now.
You would think. I mean, that was my assumption when they lost. I was like, oh, cool, we'll see them this week. Nope.
Because there's nothing left for them.
No. My thought is, at this point, I guess they'll come up after Mania. I mean, like you said, there's nothing left for them to do in Orlando. There's nothing there for them now. Unless you feud them against TM61 to put TM61 over, now that they're back, and then you bring them up. But that's it.
But see, I don't like once you've reached your peak or whatever, and they did that with, they've done that before, where if they're not ready to get called up necessarily, then they become like the put over crew.
Right.
Where they're good enough to beat like the mid-level people, but the next tier that you want to do well, that's who that team's going to put over. And as you're waiting for your spot on the main roster, now you're losing your shine because you're having to put over all these other teams. And
right.
Yeah, it's
just keep them off TV for a couple months.
Yeah.
Let them rest. Give them a break.
He's nursing. Akam's nursing an injury.
Oh yeah,
Akam.
Then let him get over it. Maybe we do a shake-up the nights after Mania or the week after, and there you go.
Paul Ellering takes him around the world.
Ooh. That's a travel series I'd watch on YouTube. Anyway,
yeah,
that was Takeover.
That was Takeover.
Yes. Fun show. Very, very good show.
It's worth checking out. If anything, for the last two matches.
Yeah.
I think you can get away with skipping the other three. I mean, the Baszler Ember Moon match is okay. I mean, everything's okay, at least, but those other two are so much better. They're definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. So, let's move on to the main event of the weekend, the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
The 31st annual Royal Rumble. I don't know where we want to start. Well, let's talk about the 4 non-Rumble matches first, because I don't know that we have much to say, if anything.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about pre-show.
No. Bobby Roode fought Mojo. Cool. The Cruiserweights fought in a multi-man tag match. Cool. I don't remember what the other match was, so cool.
The Revival beat Gallows and
right.
Anderson.
There you go. Cool.
With the Bobby Roode match, did you hear who was supposed to be his opponent?
I heard it was supposed to be an NXT talent, and then they changed.
Yes. It was supposed to be Adam Cole.
That's so dumb. My thought was, when I first heard the rumors that, it was supposed to be someone that was in the Rumble and then it changed, I was like, well, obviously it was Ziggler.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Adam Cole at first, and then they were just like, no, that's dumb. Let him be. Why bring him in to do a 7-minute match on the pre-show to give him absolutely no rub whatsoever, to have him job out? Where in contrast, you can put him in the Rumble, have him do stuff for a couple of minutes, get his spots in, look good, and he gets tossed out of the Rumble. It's no big deal. People aren't going to be like, well, he's a loser, because 29 other people are losers too. So
right.
So they made a smart call there, at least.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. AJ Styles defeated Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to retain the WWE Championship. The whole angle here was the referee missed a tag. The tag didn't happen. So.
Yeah, it was weird.
I mean, again, they're trying to stretch this thing out a little bit. So, I mean, I understand what they did here, but it was whatever. The match itself was fine.
Yeah, it threw me off a little bit because they did a straight tag instead of having, like, I guess, tornado rules.
Yeah, it was not a tornado handicap match.
Where AJ would have been pretty much... I guess you have to do it that way because you can't legitimately sell AJ as beating both these guys at the same time. Because you've got 2 top-level talents. There's no reason outside of, like, an argument or a fight or something like that they wouldn't beat AJ.
True. The Usos retain their SmackDown Tag Team Championships against Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. 2-0 in a 2 out of 3 falls match. This match way underwhelmed. It went for 13 minutes. I'd say 12 minutes of that was the first fall and 800 near falls and then we went 30 seconds and got the second fall.
I think it was like, I remember watching the first fall and being like into it.
Yeah, the match was really hot.
But then
I was sitting there thinking too, like, wow, this is a lot of near falls before the first fall.
I think I ended up looking up something or whatever, and then I look up and I'm like, wait, they won the second fall too?
Yeah, it was weird.
So I don't know.
The second fall felt really rushed too.
Yeah.
To me, I think I remember saying that when we were watching it. I think I said that out loud in the room. I was like, that was odd.
So I don't know if they were looking at the watch and going, this is going to be way too long if we keep going this way or what, but because you figure, just looking now at the list of matches and the times, the AJ match went almost 16 minutes. That Uso match went almost 14.
Right.
The male Rumble went, both Rumbles are going to go an hour. That's just what happens. So you got 2 hours there. You've got a half hour with AJ and Usos. Then you still have the Cesaro, Sheamus, Rollins, Jordan match and the Brock match. So you have 2 other matches. Maybe they were getting pressed on time. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Vince is in the back watching in Gorilla going, I don't like it.
End it now.
Finish it.
Where's my steak wrap?
It's done. It's done.
Yeah. Cesaro and Sheamus defeat Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan to regain the Raw Tag Team Championships in 12 minutes and 49 seconds, which was about 11 minutes and 49 seconds longer than this match needed to be.
Yeah,
this match was terrible.
Yeah. And I appreciate Jason Jordan being the chicken shit heel that he's becoming.
Yeah.
Like, it's heat. It
is, but do we need to drag it on for 13 minutes like we did? I mean,
no, but
yeah, that's right. This could have been 5 minutes. Should have been 5 minutes.
But I guess it's a thing of, it's the Rumble. It's one of the major pay-per-views, so we feel that we need to do a 12-minute match, even if it's not necessary.
Yeah, true. Ugh, dumb. And then Brock Lesnar retains the Universal Championship against Kane and Braun Strowman in 10 minutes and 55 seconds. They just did some spots that were all forgettable.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of to the point now where these three have done everything to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So either somebody's got to die, or it's going to seem like what you've seen already.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it just wasn't exciting necessarily.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a good match. It was
a match.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the actual fun things.
Yeah.
The two Rumble matches. We'll start with the men's, since it was in the middle of the show, which was weird. When it started, we were all like, whoa!
It was so weird, and it should have triggered.
Yeah, I should have realized at that moment what was to come, and that was the telltale sign of what was happening.
Right.
But did not register in the room at the time on any of us.
Because I think we were just like, it was a little dumbfounded that the guys were going, and so relatively early, and then you just get into the Rumble. It's just like, you're not putting too much thought into it because it was a good Rumble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe, I don't know, like, without watching all of them again, like, maybe my favorite I can, like, remember. Certainly top 3 for me.
Yeah. I'll say it is probably the best Rumble that wasn't booked by Pat Patterson.
True.
Because that's been an issue that they've run into since Pat stopped booking the Rumbles. It's been like, you could tell that there was a drop off in quality in the last couple of years.
Oh yeah.
But this was done extremely well, especially the ending.
It was.
But you had comedy spots, you had surprises.
Yeah.
And you had a great ending. I mean, it's everything that you could really want for.
Right. So to hit the highlights here, we had two surprise returns. The first one being Shane the Hurricane Helms, which was pretty awesome.
Wait, the Hurricane is Shane Helms?
Oh, no.
I had no.
Yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to ruin that for you.
I had no idea.
Sorry. So the first was Shane Helms, who got dumped. Let's see. He was in the match for 45 seconds, so almost immediately was thrown out by John Cena. Best part of his whole thing, the entire way he left, he continued to do his pose.
Yes.
He would take a couple steps, stop, pose. Take a couple steps, stop, pose. The other one, and from everything we can tell, this is just a one shot. From the 619, Rey Mysterio entered at number 27. Spent 9 minutes and 39 seconds in the match before being eliminated by Finn Balor. That got a pop for us. It got a pop in the Wells Fargo too. Yeah,
that was, and I think that is the highest of the little YouTube clips they have on the WWE channel. Rey's appearance, Rey's entrance is like the most watched out of everything.
Yeah. Because I think it was
So, yeah.
something like, spoiler alert, by the way, Ronda Rousey's debut got, like 24 hours after, had like a couple million views, but Ray had like 6.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know if those were the exact numbers, but it was that kind of ratio on it.
I was gonna say it was like 6 or 8 million. It was some ridiculous number.
Yeah. But it was awesome. That's the best he's looked in years too.
Yeah.
Like physically and athletically.
I mean, it's like when I heard the music come on, I was just like, I kind of don't want to see Ray in the bodysuit and baggy pants and, what he had become basically. And then he came out and I'm like, oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
You go, boy.
But that booyaka hit and everybody was excited. It was fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. NXT surprises. Only 2 of those. Adrian Cien Almas entered at number 7 with almost 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Which was surprising. Because I kept looking at me like, he's still in this match. He's still in this match. And they were letting him get some shine, too.
Yeah, that was a big coming out party, I think, for Almas. I mean, just because of the match that he had the night before, it would have been so easy to turn around and have him get like 5 minutes in, then get eliminated because, you can go, well, he's exhausted from the night before. He had so much damage done to him, and he had some decent bruising around him too. But
yeah. And then we already alluded to this. Entering at number 23, Adam Cole, baby, who's in for 6 minutes and 52 seconds.
Yeah, Cole didn't get any eliminations, but
Nope.
I think where I read somewhere they're just like, well, yeah, you can say whatever, but he got to be in the Royal Rumble for 7 minutes, and he got thrown out by Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
And, that's going to be one of the highlights of his career, so.
I'm sure he would tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, I guess we just go to the winner here. We can go to the Final 4. There we go. Final 4.
I was going to say, yeah, let's hit Final 4.
It all came down to Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, John Cena, and Roman Reigns. Oh, boy.
It was the perfectly booked ending.
It was so good. I don't think I said a word for the entire last 10 minutes of that match. I was just sitting on the edge of the couch, like face in my hands.
Because, now, if you're just a fan and you're not necessarily emotionally, as deep geeks like we are, you're just kind of watching it.
Yeah.
It's these are 2 people that you definitely know, and Cena and, well, Reigns potentially, but I mean, Cena, everybody knows Cena. So those are 2 guys that you know, and, you're drawn in, okay, and then these 2 other guys, being that Balor had a hell of a run up to that point, because he was in early.
Yep. Well, Balor and Reigns, Balor enters 2, Reigns enters 28. They tied for eliminations, topping the field with 4 apiece.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too, and I'll get into that later. But
okay, good tease.
So you had the traditional Uber pushes. You had Lol Cena wins, and you had Boo Roman Boo.
Right.
And then on the other side of the ring, you've got Nakamura and Finn Balor, the 2 former NXT guys, the 2 former New Japan guys. And it's like smart marks versus casual fans. It's what the company wants versus what the hardcore fans want. And it's just that battle, and they know it's the battle.
Yep. Well, I look at it too is like, not even smart marks versus casual fans, but like, it's the Rumble, it's a Big Four, it's in Philly. It's the smart marks versus the company.
Yeah.
Because they know what kind of reaction is about to happen at that point. Or they should if they don't, but I mean they clearly do. We want to give them shit all the time about, oh, it's, I don't know why they think Reigns is so over. One, Reigns is over because he's getting a reaction. So if you don't care for him, just don't make a noise next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no number 2. I said 1. I don't know why.
Yeah. So then Balor gets eliminated. So Nakamura, and we're already pre-booking this. We're looking at, what could potentially happen. You're seeing Finn Balor as the potential Finn Balor Brock Lesnar WrestleMania match, which wasn't necessarily a perfect fit, but it would have been interesting to see. And then you're seeing Nakamura, AJ Styles, and it's, this is the match that we've been waiting for. This is Nakamura. Yeah, this is what we've wanted ever since Nakamura signed, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then Balor goes over the top. And then you're faced with Nakamura. So you realize, okay, Nakamura is who we have to pull for now. And you're sitting, and there are so many like near spots where it's like, say, Cena's like sitting against the ropes or something like that, and somebody goes to charge in or something, and you're like, oh, here it comes.
Yep.
And it didn't happen. There were so many teases that just
those little simple eliminations that would have just.
Which
they
again,
needed to re-grease the poles.
If you're a casual fan looking at that, you're just going, oh, that's, whatever. But again, you're the smart mark watching it. You're going, here's the spot. God damn it, here's the spot. Oh, okay. Yeah. And your heart jumps a little bit because you're like, okay, this is where we're going to get screwed over. Mm-hmm. I know it's going to happen. It's happened last year. It happened the year before that. It always happens.
Right. They played us.
They hate us.
They played us so hard this year, though.
They played it beautifully, and
well, of course, it got better too when Finn gets eliminated, and then it's down to Shinsuke, John, and Roman.
Yeah.
You're like, no, God, no, help us.
And you're just picturing Nakamura's going to get thrown over, and it's going to be Cena and Reigns, and
Cole is trying to sell it, and you can hear Cole in your head already trying to sell it as hard as possible about like, can you believe it? The fans are going crazy. Well, yeah, they're going crazy because we're piping in cheers because we've totally muted the crowd audio. Like
the Icon versus the big dog.
It would, yeah.
The passing of another torch.
Yeah.
As garbage begins to pelt the ring like an NWO promo.
I think when we were sitting there too, I was like, I kind of want Nakamura to get eliminated just to see what happens.
That's the thing. It's like
I wanted to watch the world burn, Tom.
Yeah, the fan me goes, yeah, I want Nakamura to win this, but fan of chaos me is like, yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah,
we can still book the title match for WrestleMania with Nakamura, but let's see what happens if they put these two in. But no, they did the right thing. And the crowd pop at the Section 328 Worldwide headquarters was the strongest one I've heard since I've been watching.
It's still hanging. It's still hanging in that room.
Yeah,
like that energy will forever be in the Worldwide headquarters.
Like, you want to be cool. I don't cheer watching wrestling. I just take notes and see what's good. And
then you're doing it wrong, Alvarez.
Yeah, we all fucking cheered.
Yeah, as we should. All right. Let's see. Moving on to the Women's Royal Rumble.
Before you go into that, do you want to just
go ahead?
Do you just want to hit like a few favorite moments outside of the Final Four, or?
Oh, yes, I know what you're alluding to.
Well, there's a couple.
Specifically, you're alluding to Heath Slater's role in the Royal Rumble this year.
Oh,
He
that
enters,
was
he enters
fun.
number 5. As Corbin has been eliminated very, very quickly by Balor. Corbin then goes into a fit, destroys Rusev and Balor and Rhino. Then as he's coming up the ramp, Slater enters. He lays out Slater. Slater proceeds to lay it there for, let me count how many more people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more entrances. 6 more, actually. Everyone that walks by him for the next 4 or 5 are heels, so they have to just either kick him or stomp him as they're walking into the ring.
Elias did it as like part of his song, I think.
Yeah. Big E comes out number 9, proceeds to take some pancakes out of his outfit, and shoves them in Heath's mouth. Because we were all like, wait, this is the first babyface coming out. What's he going to do? You can tell even Big E was playing it like, I'm conflicted. Everyone else has beat him up. What do I need to do here?
Yeah.
Sheamus comes in at 11. I think he even kicks Slater. As soon as he gets in the ring, Slater rolls back up in the ring and eliminates Sheamus. And it got such a pop.
It was great because you were looking. I mean, it was comedy. It was comedy done well. I mean, from that for the Big E spot there with the pancakes and which not the only time pancakes would be involved in the Royal Rumble match.
Kofi's signature not getting eliminated moment was from landing outside of the ring, but one foot was on the stack of pancakes.
Well, initially, one foot was on Xavier Woods.
Oh, right. I forgot about that part. You're right.
And then that's when
pancakes.
They got the platter of pancakes. Because we were trying to figure out whether if pancakes were straight on the floor, would they have classified? But since the pancakes were on a platter, and the platter's like, because pancakes are more malleable, so you could technically kind of go through the pancake and still hit the floor. Whereas if you're on a platter, you're not going through the platter unless the platter breaks for some reason.
True.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're debating
so
this.
It's the science of the Rumble.
Right. That's going to be in the Rumble by the numbers. It takes 10 pancakes to not be eliminated. Expect that in the package next year.
Yeah. One of the things that I was that I was circling back to, I mean, it's not a huge thing, but I think this is the first. You mentioned Roman and Balor tying for the lead with 4 eliminations. This is the first Rumble in recent memory that there hasn't been a monster basically that went in and cleaned house.
It's true. You didn't have Braun. You didn't have Big Show.
No Braun. No
Kane,
Show.
No Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way that the Rumble, there are certain spots in the Rumble that are traditional, where when you start to get enough introductions in and the ring gets a little crowded, you send out a Braun or Roman or somebody like that who just comes in and just cleans house with about 6 or 7 guys.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have that. The eliminations were steady. We went through a period of time where nobody got eliminated for a while.
Yeah, there were some gaps there.
Yeah. And then like one here and there and that type of thing. But I mean, and it worked. They didn't have to fall back on the traditional stuff. They ended up, they didn't need that big giant elimination clear the ring thing. They did it on their own.
Right.
So it was a differently booked Rumble than it has been in years past, and it was done extremely well.
Yes, I agree. 5 stars from me for that Rumble.
Yeah.
Again, that's just judging Rumbles against Rumbles because they're so unique. But all right, the Women's Royal Rumble, the main event of the evening. I don't even know where we want to start here. We want to bury the lead, obviously.
Without looking, and you may have already done the research on this.
Okay.
Do you know who had the most eliminations in a women's Royal Rumble?
I figured, but I had looked it up while I was introducing this segment now anyway, so I know the answer. But I would have guessed this, having watched the Rumble.
I would not have, even though I did also watch the Rumble.
Yes. The correct answer is Michelle McCool.
I guess
She had 5. She got that Taker rub, yo.
that's I guess what I'm taking out of it is that she got the Taker booking. But it was cool to see. Oh, she had like 4 in a row here, it looks like.
Yeah, she eliminated 10 through 13 on her own after entering at 14. She eliminated Sonya Deville, Liv Morgan, Molly Holly, and Lana. And then her other elimination was helping Becky, Ruby Riott, and Sasha Banks eliminate Vicky Guerrero.
Excuse me.
So let's talk about this match. And so we knew there were 17 women going into it that had been announced. So we knew there were going to be a lot of what we thought at the time would be NXT call-ups mostly, some returning legends, maybe a new signing, something like that. It was mostly legends. There were only 2 NXT talents brought in, Kairi Sane and Ember Moon, entering at 6 and 23 respectively. That was kind of a shock, I think.
And really, there was only supposed to be one.
Supposed to be one, yes. The rumor mill, the dirt sheets would have you believe that in Alicia Fox's absence, having broke her tailbone in rehearsal for this match, at the PC, I would assume, she was replaced last minute with an NXT talent, which makes sense that they would have to replace her with an NXT talent since the legends were already kind of booked and signed. It's not like they keep them hanging out back there.
Yeah. And I had heard that it was Kairi Sane.
Yeah. I could believe it if they said Lita, since she's coaching the women off and on, and I would totally believe that she may have had a part to play in putting this match together. And they may have been like, hey, you got your gear? Let's go. But, I mean, yeah, it's a possibility.
I think there was, there may have been more NXT talent potentially kind of set up for the match. But from what I've heard, when the whole Women's Rumble was announced, there were so many WWE women's alumni that called in and basically said they wanted to be part of it, that it became a legend show, basically.
And you know what? For this one being the first one, I've seen complaints online on Twitter and Reddit, everywhere about it. To me, for this being the first one, that's perfectly fine to have this many legends in there.
Yeah.
Because you're celebrating the history and the legacy of women's wrestling in the WWE. Now, next year, this will not fly.
No.
But for this time, it was cool. It kept the fans engaged in the match. It was very good for that.
I think it would have been a little bit cooler had Raw 25 not happened the week before.
Right. I agree with that.
Because we rolled in and we saw Tori Wilson. We saw Michelle McCool. We saw Kelly. You know, we saw we saw all these people on stage, like, 6 days previous.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it would have been cool to see, like, Kelly shows up. You haven't seen Kelly in 5 years. And now she's coming down to ringside. Oh, wow, she looks great or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But more than likely you saw her 6 days ago. So you know what she looks like and she looks great. And that thought kind of went into the back of your head when you saw Raw 25 and you're like, she looks like she could wrestle now.
Mm-hmm. So
That's why I kind of...
Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say that's why I kind of dug like Molly Holly, Beth Phoenix, people like that coming in that weren't part of Raw 25 that were true surprises because they weren't necessarily in the back of your mind.
So we had the 2 NXT women. We had 4 Hall of Famers in Lita, Jacqueline, Beth Phoenix, and Trish Stratus enter the match. And then free agent-wise was Tori Wilson, Molly Holly, Michelle McCool, Vicky Guerrero, Kelly Kelly, and Brie Bella.
Can I say how constantly impressed I am with Jacqueline?
Right? I love her.
I said it when we were watching it, but I mean, like, again, understand too that Jacqueline will kick your ass to this day.
Oh yeah. I do not doubt it.
People, and I've heard stories where, like, I mean, Bruce Pritchard talks about her, and like other wrestlers talk about her, like, you know, she is no one to screw around with. Like, if there was any woman wrestler that was like meant to be part of that locker room that, you know, would immediately fit in, it was Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, watching her wrestle, and then I turned around and decided, all right, you know, I'm not a gentleman. I'll look up how old she is. 54 years old.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
And still running around and, like, looking great, basically. I mean, she still looked better than, I'll say, a quarter of the wrestlers. She looked better than most of the returning legends.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, it was cool to see her. It was cool to see Beth Phoenix. Appreciated that spot where her and Natty had that long embrace, and because Natty was the one that inducted Beth into the Hall of Fame. And if you listen to Natty's speech for Beth Phoenix, you can tell how tight the two of them were.
Right.
And just to have Natty turn on her and throw her out because it's the damn Royal Rumble.
Right. Final 2 this time. Nikki Bella. And Asuka. And of course, no one is ready for Asuka. So Asuka wins.
Also, a little bit of trolling there too to have Nikki Bella be the last one in the ring with Asuka, because that thought creeps into the back of your head again and goes, "Lol, Nikki wins."
Yeah. Lol, Nikki wins. Yeah. She gets that Cena rub.
Yeah. I mean, Michelle McCool could go full Undertaker in this. Why can't Nikki go full John Cena?
Right. So Asuka wins. The champs, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, have been sitting ringside the entire time they come in as we wait to find out who Asuka wants to challenge at WrestleMania. Everybody's staring they raise their belts. They're all staring at the sign.
Point that sign.
And then what do we hear? But Joan Jett blasting through the sound system at Wells Fargo Arena for the entrance.
Apparently we've renewed Freaks and Geek for a second season.
Yep. And then
did you watch that show?
No, I did not.
It's a fun show.
There's much television I have not watched.
It's one of those shows that you watch now just to see all the people that ended up being on other shows and like having great careers out of it.
Right. Okay.
Be part of the show.
Is it on Netflix?
Probably. I don't know. I haven't looked recently.
Okay. I have to look it up. As I said, Joan Jett's blaring. And then here comes former UFC champion Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey.
So let me point out one. She comes out and was like, why is she wearing this ill-fitting jacket? Come to find out, that is a jacket that the son of Roddy Piper flew and brought up to her. Because as we know, she has got permission from Piper to use that name because she's a giant Piper mark. So kind of cool. There's an original Piper jacket out there. Rousey enters because if the ring goes to shake Asuka's hand, Asuka slaps it away. Rousey points at the sign. Looks at Charlotte. Points at the sign. Hops out of the ring. Shakes Stephanie's hand very reluctantly. There was a lot of tension there, especially after what happened at WrestleMania 31 in San Jose. She points at the sign again. She goes up the ramp. And the last shot we see is Ronda Rousey pointing at the sign.
Point to it.
So much sign pointing. Yeah, so Ronda Rousey, and then as soon as she, 30 seconds after she walks through the curtain, I get a push notification from ESPN, because this stuff isn't planned, that Ronda Rousey has signed a full-time deal with World Wrestling Entertainment. Crazy. Never would have guessed that it would go that far.
Yeah, I mean, I would have assumed, various appearances, like, the big four, maybe the big two. I mean, or even just like a Lesnar-like contract.
Right.
For, a couple of pay-per-views here and there.
But not full-time.
Nope.
Didn't see that
apparently going to be in the roster.
Yeah. For months, she's been flying down to the Performance Center to train and everything, so who knows? And of course, we didn't see her Monday Night on Raw, so who the hell knows what the hell's going on? Because she's still filming her movie in Colombia.
So, let me get my little thing out of the way first, because I don't really care about her that much. I'm not a big UFC fan, so whatever. I know your feelings about her. Here's my kind of perspective on this. Okay, so I've told you about the show that I quote unquote worked that one time for my friend's promotion, where I got to be the timekeeper and actually got to be kind of, one of the boys for a day, that type of thing.
Right.
So I didn't know anything necessarily going in, and George the Animal Steel's on the card. And what basically happened was George, in full kayfabe, whatever, comes to the ring, kind of goes around the ring, and it's just whatever. He makes a beeline for our area and proceeds to grab the table and flip it over in front of us. But water bottles going everywhere, the bell goes, everything gets trashed or whatever.
Right.
And yells and then goes away. And I realize as it happens, as he's going away, I realize I have the biggest smile on my face because it's cool, right?
You fucking Mark.
I'm like, this is fucking cool. And then it takes me 5 seconds, and then it smacks me in the back of the head. No one literally smacked me in the head, although they should have.
Yeah.
You dumb fuck. George the Animal Steel practically attacked you and threw your table away. You should be in fear. You shouldn't be like, wow, this is neat.
You went full New Japan and didn't tell anything.
So my smile dropped, and I started scrambling to try to pick everything up. But it took me a minute to realize where the hell I was. Nothing hit Rhonda in the back of the head. She walked out. Her theme music went. She walked out. She had a big shit-eating grin on her face. And it never went away. Here's somebody who's supposed to be this badass, I can shoot, fight, and kill everyone in this ring type of character. And she came out like a complete mark. Like she was a goddamn Make-A-Wish kid.
Jesus. John Cena wasn't out there. Calm down.
Smiling and like practically skipping to the ring. And like, wait, I'm supposed to kind of, I'll shake hands. Try at least to be somewhat of a badass, or at least if you're going to have the smile, be the smile like, yeah, I'm fucking Ronda Rousey, you know.
See, I was going to say, that's how I read it as. I'm Ronda Rousey, and these people are cheering for me, and I'm here to run this division. I'm here. Let's go. That's how I read it.
And that may have been how it was meant to be done, maybe. It just didn't come off that way to me.
Yeah. And I know a lot of the other complaints people have had about it online were, it's just not fair to the women that Ronda came out last and stole Asuka's spotlight and her rub from winning and blah, 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 blah. Okay, one, Asuka got her moment. We got to see her point at the sign. We got to see her stand there and try to choose a champ. Like, we got the Asuka moment. As long as it would have lasted, if the pay-per-view would have ended there, we got it. And then you got more of it Monday night, too.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about, like, this is Ronda stealing the women that have paid dues and blah, 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 blah. Okay, one, if I'm those women in that locker room, I'm fucking thrilled Ronda Rousey's here. Because she is now going to garner mainstream attention and eyes on the product.
Yep.
It's only going to make me more money. It's only going to make me more famous because I'm out there with her. And this whole thing about that people are freaking out, oh man, do you see all this stuff the women are saying on Twitter? Okay, WWE's retweeting it. It's a work. Calm down.
Yeah, that's your signal. That's your signal right there. If WWE isn't trying to sweep something onto the table or basically clamping down on WWE monitors their social media. They know what you're saying. Ask Leo Rush. But like
where is he, by the way?
Yeah. They pay attention to their social media accounts, and if somebody were to say something that doesn't fit with the storylines or whatever, it's getting taken down. But no, if they're turning around and not only not taking it down, but retweeting it for the world to see, they want those 8 million followers to see that. They want everyone to know that, ooh, maybe there's tension, you know, maybe this is part of a shoot. They want that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It feels real.
But, I mean, from a realistic standpoint, if Ronda Rousey is going to get that attention shown to the division, potentially getting their own show out of it, or...
Oh, God, no, please.
Yeah, I'm not asking for that, but I mean, just that kind of attention, you know, it's to make sure that they're going to have like actual matches on pay-per-views instead of being relegated to pre-shows or 6-person matches on Raw each week, you know. Instead, they're actually going to have angles that are part of the product. They should be happy with this. And, I mean, my main concern is we've already built up. I mean, Ronda's already the name. She's already, at this point, she's already basically seen as somebody who theoretically should be able to beat all these women wrestlers because she's a quote-unquote real fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So either it was the same thing as the Shanna Baszler thing. What do? Do you have her go in and basically immediately take a title, or
right?
So it's going to be her feasting on lower level competition at this point, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, we'll see. Who knows? It's huge. You know. Are they going to go with her in a title match at Mania? Or are they still going to build this 4 horsewomen angle? Like, where are we going? But we got 2 months. We on the ultimate thrill ride now, baby.
She's had the Performance Center, like, but she hasn't really. I mean, we haven't seen her wrestle a match yet.
Yeah.
For all we know, she's freaking Kevin Green.
Yikes.
Or that's the question. Is she Kevin Green or is she Reggie White?
Yeah.
Because as much as I used that before, Kevin Green actually was, well, at one time was the best one-off other athlete pro wrestler I think that they've done that didn't end up going into like the actual profession until D'Angelo Williams came around.
True.
But
anyway,
it's
a lot of ways to go from here.
Yeah.
It's very wide open. Final thoughts on the Royal Rumble pay-per-view?
I enjoyed it a lot.
I did too.
I always love the Rumble. I mean, even when it's the Royal Rumble's like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still good.
Yeah. A lot of fun there. Both shows were good. I enjoyed the weekend of wrestling.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some quick hits here.
Okay.
Because we run along. Let's talk about the Golden Lovers have been reunited in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh God, that's how you do an angle,
man.
As
the Bullet Club tears itself apart.
I watched recently. Because Mike spoiled it for me. Thanks, Mike. I didn't know about the turn, so I went into Rumble Sunday wearing my Kenny Omega Bullet Club shirt. Mike just walks, as I walk into the door, Mike turns to me and goes, "Oh man, that was messed up how they turned on him, right?" I'm like,
You didn't watch New Beginning?
It was just yesterday. I didn't think I needed to necessarily, but anyway.
Yeah.
But the thing was of how the turn went, and it wasn't like previous turns where like when they booted out AJ, when they booted out Adam Cole, things like that. There's still some questions because it seemed like everything was okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go full blown into the whole angle, but it seemed like everything was okay. And then Cody's the one that's had the issue with Kenny the entire time. Cody turns against him, and it seems like technically the only real Bullet Club member on Cody's side is Hangman Page, because Page grabbed Kenny to basically do a double team type thing, and that's when Kota Ibushi ran in. But that was it. It was, Skrull was arguing basically with Cody in the first place about why is this even an issue? We're Bullet Club. Why are we having this fight?
Right.
There's the question of the Elite. They've always been tight. More so, it was always been the Elite seemingly, and then the Bullet Club. But Nick Jackson who got shoved down,
right?
And then almost the puppy dog heartbroken looks that the Bucks gave towards Kenny as they left, but on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And
then on Being the Elite, it continues.
I see. I didn't watch it this week.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. I won't spoil it then.
All I did was I watched the backstage interviews, and it's funny because I go on New Japan World and watch the first part of it was like, oh, the backstage interviews, because that's all it kind of vaguely says. So I click on that, not realizing that before the match interviews are there first. So I'm like, oh, there's the Bullet Club stuff. And Marty Scurll's talking about we're going to be great. And Cody's like, after Kenny wins and after this happens, there's nothing wrong with the Bullet Club. I'm like, oh, that must have happened before the match. So I quick fast forward to the very end of it where it's just every Bullet Club member basically yelling at each other. and Cody kind of trying to bring them together, but I don't know.
It's weird. We'll see where it goes.
I
love it.
But just that moment of Coda and Kenny just like, should I be friendly with you? The hand extended, and then finally the hug at the end. It's like,
yes.
Yeah.
Exciting. Minoru Suzuki murdered Hiroshi Tanahashi to start his first reign as the IWGP Intercontinental Champion. He murdered him.
Yeah.
This is what Goto caused. This is all Goto's fault.
Well,
I warned everybody. I saw it coming.
It's what happens when you let Suzuki near anybody, really.
Yeah. And let's see, Jeremy Borash has signed with WWE.
That should be interesting, at least from the Hardy standpoint.
Yeah. I see him having more of a role in NXT.
Yeah.
Like, down there, helping to run that. That'd be such a good place for him.
Yeah. And I've heard that's potentially where he's going, so that works.
Yeah. All right. So that was everything that happened this week, I think. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so.
There might have been other things, but I don't know.
But we're going long.
Yeah.
But, it's that time of year, man.
It is.
So, and you know what else? Do you know what other time of year it is?
What time is?
It's Valentine's Day, Tom. Almost.
Almost.
In 2 weeks. It will be Valentine's Day.
You're a bit relieved, aren't you?
I'm very happy. But there are lots of people out there that aren't, because you got to buy gifts for your significant other, or for teachers, or for anything like that. A lot of gifts to buy for this holiday.
Okay.
You want to know the easiest way to buy those gifts, Tom?
I'd love to, because I don't know.
Do you? You really haven't learned yet?
No, I haven't.
The easiest way to buy any gifts for Valentine's Day or any other holiday is to go to cheatersneverpin.com.
Okay. Do we have merch there?
Oh, okay. I'm getting there. Let me get through the ad read, Tom. Jesus. Go to Cheaters.
I thought I was part of the conversation.
Right.
I'll just shut up and
Right.
just nod.
All right, I'll just cue you back. Jesus.
Okay.
All right. So you go to cheatersneverpin.com. You click the ad. You click the Amazon button on. Okay, but if I'm gonna, you gotta be quiet though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to kill time. Fine.
Okay. All right. So you go to cheatersneverpin.com and you click the Amazon button on the front page. It takes you straight to Amazon, and for everything you buy there, preferably Prime, if you're a Prime member, get that shit in 2 days. Get your Valentine's Day shopping done, kid. We're gonna get a small commission off of each sale. It doesn't charge you anything extra, but it kicks a few bucks back to us and to the rest of Section 328, which we greatly appreciate, to help pay for all of our costs. So before you do any shopping for Valentine's Day coming up in 2 weeks or anything else, go to cheatersneverpin.com and click the Amazon button on the front page. And do all your Amazon shopping through that link so we get a small commission. And we thank you.
Am I allowed to talk now?
I was getting ready to cue you like I said I would. But, you can just butt right back in. That's fine.
You know what my cue is? You're dead silence. That's what my cue is.
Well, that was a test. I was testing you. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
And you failed. I need you to know that. You can talk now.
No, you seem to like dead silence, so I was giving you dead silence.
Have you listened to this podcast before? I love dead silence, Tom.
That's it. Cheaters Never Pin, pure professionals in our 1+ year of doing this now.
1 year and 1 week. Last year was our 1 year anniversary of doing this to the day when we recorded this. So thank you to everyone that's listened to us and listened to our stupid rants and follow us on Twitter and all that. It is greatly appreciated, because this has been quite the fun year of sitting down once a week and running our mouths about something we both really love.
Yeah, as usual, we're always working out the kinks, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. And if you've got any feedback for us, feel free to reach out on Twitter, or don't do it in reviews, because we only like good reviews.
5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be our melts. Give us 5 stars.
Yeah, just pretend we're in the Tokyo Dome.
Right? Yeah, otherwise it's 4.5.
Yeah.
So we need to open every show live from the Tokyo Dome. This is Cheaters Never Pin.
Okay. Make a note of that. Cold open next week from the Tokyo Dome next week. Got it.
I got a post-it note right here on the mixer, so I will not forget. So we're good to go. All right, Tom. I think it's time to get out of here. Then we're clearly getting delirious, but we're not. I mean, we have the feelings of delirium. We're not delirious of Ring of Honor because he wears a mask.
Now, see, I'm old, so you said delirious, and I thought of an Eddie Murphy special. So
I'm staying on brand here, Tom.
Okay.
All right, tell the people where they can find you on the internet.
Go to the Twitter machine at Mr. Workrate, at MR Workrate. Don't go anywhere else. I was on Facebook Messenger and got to be part of a group on there, and people were talking about wrestling, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, if you really want to reach out on Facebook, I'm there, but I don't know. You don't want to see pictures of my kids.
He has cute kids, though, so I like his kids.
They play hockey, or at least one of them does.
You can find me on the Twitter machine at JCBobbitt, JCBOBBITT. You can find the show on Twitter at Cheaters Never Pin, Cheaters in VR Pin. We're also on Facebook. You can just search Cheaters Never Pin and find us there. CheatersNeverPin.com. We actually have an article up. We've done a couple in the last.
That's weird, right?
It's getting weird, yeah. We just put up today, or yesterday by the time you listen to this, an article about our views on Goldberg being inducted into the 2018 WWE Hall of Fame class. We have very different views, if you couldn't guess already.
I was going to say, spoiler, they're different.
So
the next one's going to be different, too, from the words that the comments that we seem to have on text message when the most recent WWE Hall of Famers were announced.
I think they'll be similar but different, if that makes sense.
That doesn't make any sense at all because those are two completely different expressions.
Well, but then people are just going to have to read it and find out. CheatersNeverPin.com.
Goddamn, I'm excited.
Yeah, you should be. I think that's about it. Maybe this song will play. There we go. We told you that nothing is ever perfect on this show.
Should you have hit the damn X button?
No, I don't use an Xbox controller. We're professionals. I'm not using an Xbox to run my podcast, Tom.
See, you took that as Xbox. I just assumed there was like a big giant button with an X on it, like the easy button.
Last week I used an Xbox controller, so.
Oh, okay.
When Mike told me to hit the X button, I hit an Xbox controller. That's all I know. It was on the desk. That's all I know. I picked it.
Okay.
When I checked all my stuff at the front door, the coat check at the Worldwide headquarters, they gave me the controller.
See, I wasn't allowed because I was bumped from the good mic to the guest mic because, well, you smell better than I do, apparently.
It's not, but we all smell better than Derek.
Also, you're loud.
I am very loud. Anyway, this has been Cheaters Never Pin. We thank you for listening as always, and we'll catch you back here next week on the road to WrestleMania. So I'm JC.
I'm Tom.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Shut up and sit down.